Good morning. Well, because of the technical difficulties, we couldn't come to you earlier, but nice meeting you and talking to you. Well, for the last few days, I've been thinking, where are we going? Are we reacting or acting as human beings? Most of the time, yes. But the new fads, new fashions, new ideas are sometimes so zany that they make me wonder. The latest craze, or shall I call it, working of a diseased mind, is evident in the latest fad called breast ironing. Till today, 3.8 million women, especially in the age group of 13 to 19, young girls, have suffered from this. Akin to genital mutilation, breast ironing is a phase where the biggest tormentors are the practitioners or the mothers. In this, what they do is take a rock and then heat it up and press it on the breast of a girl. Or take up an iron, heat it up and put the iron on the breast, ironing the breast. The purpose is to delay the puberty and also to make the breasts smaller. The reason being the people think that the larger breasts attract the males. And if you have no breast, then you are almost sexless and the people may not be attracted towards you. How stupid! On the one side, we have a craze for silicone implants in the breasts to make them outstanding feature of human body, an expression of vibrant sexuality. On the other side, we are stunting the growth of a normal human feature with a specious, unacceptable plea that men should not be tempted. But if the men are so weak to be tempted by the sight of a breast, then they don't deserve to be called men. Let's be very frank. Then they are diseased minds. But you do not meet a disease with another disease. Here, the cure is worse than the disease itself. Imagine, number one, the physical pain. Number two, the mental pain and agony. And a lifetime of suffering. The person who undergoes this treatment becomes a victim of inferiority complex. Inside, she knows that she has been tortured. And tortured by nobody, but by her near and dear ones who are supposed to protect her. On the other side, with her different physiognomy, she'll be butt of ridicule by her peers. Her peers would always be slighting her insignificant breasts. And when she grows up to be a young woman, the males would look as if she is a queer, as if she is a species not normal. Now, who is responsible for all this physical and psychological pain? Are the mothers not ashamed of this conduct? Or are the practitioners, whether male or female, whatever, are really human beings to inflict this torture, which is both physical and mental, on the young people? Sometimes I wonder in which world we are living, where licentious eyes make these young girls tremble and they become willing victims of this torture. Amazing thing is that this breast ironing is a process not only in the backward societies, not only in the societies which are essentially anti-feminist, where the women are degraded and they occupy a secondary place akin to the beasts and animals. But it is also being practiced in a so-called extremely advanced country like England. Of course, it's the same people who are in Somalia and Niger have brought those traditions up here in England. But the trend is increasing. As I said, till today, 3.8 million victims have suffered this torture. You see, normally people undergo torture, physical torture, to enhance their appearance. Here is the other way round. It is to diminish their appeal as human beings. Is to diminish and decrease their appeal as partners of life. Again on the specious plea that this is being done to save them from exploitation. This is the same plea which we hear when some people say, well, you should wear a hijab so that men cannot see you. So since men cannot see you or see you only as a sack, they will not be tempted to teach you. It's the same plea which is taken by some people, Hindu leaders in India, some, not all, but they say, well, the women should not go out after 6 o'clock in the evening. They should not have cell phones. Some panchayats in India have declared it that women should not have cell phones. And also that they should be covered from head to foot. This is, in fact, blaming the victim rather than the aggressor. Why don't they say that the people who have done it will be castrated? That they will not do. Because essentially it's a male-dominated society. And in a male-dominated society, you would do things to remove the temptation rather than to ensure that the person is instinctively debarred from wanton temptation. Temptation is nothing wrong, but the temptation which is unjust, which is unethical, is definitely objectionable and not desirable. Another thing which troubles me very often is that why is it that we always try to suppress the marginal sections of society? Here is the young girls, teenagers, young village women who are the victims of this atrocious, inhuman practice. The same has been the system since times immemorial. Why is it that the most marginal section of society and the most vulnerable section of society is always victimized? There is a certain sign of victimology. And the victimology essentially is an extension of bullying. A person who is in power, either because of his status, money, or whatever, assumes himself and herself to be a demigod, if not a full-fledged God. And every person who is subservient to him has to cater to his wishes and desires. In the old days when the kings used to win, they would get the girls as a compensation. You remember, even the Spanish king Charles V gave his daughter in marriage to the king of England. In India, it was a very great practice, a very widely practiced norm that the defeated king will give hundreds of young girls as an offering to the victorious. What an offering! You are using human beings as objects of sexual lust. And now, the same objects of sexual lust are being degraded to the level of animals, making them as they are. There was a time in China when the young girls, when they were born and when they were growing up, their feet were encased in shoes, iron, or tight leather, or wooden, so that the feet would not grow. The whole body would grow, but the feet would not grow because the dainty small feet were a sign of beauty. So there the torture was to make them beautiful. Now the torture is to make them unbeautiful. That means not appealing to the eyes. What a stupidity! Are human beings morons or human beings essentially deranged animals who either are lustful creatures, and to protect the young ones you start not curbing the lustful desires but by punishing the victims. This system, this torture, as I said, akin to genital